Extraordinarily well. I want to get a read now from where it goes from here from Market Gates Group Managing Director Michelle Snyder. Michelle, chips we know. Let's start with chips because they're in short supply. So those stocks are doing well now. Software names, I saw 3 separate software names get upgrades this morning. Then you got the big names everyone thinks about, Apple, Microsoft. They're charging back ahead. What's changed all of a sudden?
Well, before I answer that, I want to mention that last week when I was on, we talked about the NASDAQ chart and how technical it is. If it cleared 321, we start, 324 we add, and we're looking at 340. So we're well on that way, and I love when that happens, when the charts sort of match up and really behave themselves. In terms of the chips, we also talked about that we were rotating into 4 semiconductor stocks as part of our quant model, and that's worked out really well. So we have some good reasons. One is high expectations for earnings coming up. We also have a good economic landscape in terms of how people are perceiving the whole coming back and the virus, even though it's distributed in terms of the vaccine unevenly, it's still more and more coming back. The jobs report last week was very positive. The Fed continues to say they're going to be accommodative, and the yields have relaxed a little bit. So all that's really helping there. And also I want to mention Microsoft because that had a breakaway gap today. That's a very powerful chart signal. That literally means it broke away from all of the chart history it's had, and it's in new chart territory. So that's something to keep an eye on as well. That could really be a great indicator if things are going to hold or turn around.
Yeah, I call that a true breakout. And folks, if you're learning charts, pull up that chart later on, study it, and it's a great way to get into this. All right, so your call on the parameters for the NASDAQ was spot on. Let me ask you about the Russell 2000, which now looks a little bit vulnerable. What's going on with these small cap names?
Well, some of the money just naturally is rotating into the mega caps and the big cap stocks, so that's getting some of the thunder right now away from the small caps. In terms of the actual fundamental reason, the only thing I can really come up with at this point, too, is that since the infrastructure plan now, we're hearing words like compromise, could be signaling to the market that it won't be as robust as originally planned. In terms of the technicals, though, which I always like to stick to, it's teetering right here in a very important pivotal area at 222, and that's looking at the IWM. That's exactly where the 50-day moving average is. So if that holds and takes leadership back, that's only going to be good for the entire market. So we don't want to see it fall apart, but right now, like I said, money rotating elsewhere, and hopefully it comes back.
All right. I'll throw one at you before I let you go. Head and shoulders formation. I see a little bit of a head and shoulders formation. We'll talk about it next time because you never forget these conversations, and neither do I. You've been spot on, Michelle. We appreciate your help. Hey, later, I'm